Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy. No! So our story continues with Yamoshi standing utterly shell-shocked with a mixture of fear and confusion after hearing not only the last demon emperor call Vegito Lucif himself, but then hearing the words, "Come Saiyan," straight from the horse's mouth. As with his body trembling uncontrollably, he would mutter, "Vegito! That voice! Don't tell me it's true! Lucif! He can't still be controlling you!" And for a moment, as Vegito would appear levitating in the air above, like some kind of dark angel, there would be a deathly silence, as neither side would say a word more, before Vegito, smirking with his eyes closed, would then finally break the tension, responding, "And what if? What if he still was? I knew it!" As suddenly, this confusing and triggering non-answer would completely infuriate Yamoshi, his anger overwhelming before... "I will not stand for this, Vegito! If you're going to repeat history and leave the multiverse in even more danger, then I'll stop you now!" As instantly turning into a Super Saiyan 2 and roaring with intense blue lightning and golden aura, Yamoshi, with his teeth bared fully, would prepare to stop the God Killer and supposedly stop a second Lucif. But for all his rage and groans, it would all come to a screeching halt when suddenly Yamoshi's eyes would widen and he would realize not all was right anymore. Vegito! As instantly behind him, like his own shadow, the God Killer would react to Yamoshi and appear right behind the legendary Saiyan, his back to his, as Yamoshi, now trembling once more, would be left frozen, paralyzed still. Say that again, old man. As Vegito, now looking back with his blood-red seraphim eyes, would smirk creepily as he would address Yamoshi and push him, saying, "You do know jokes exist, right? That phrase, 'Come Saiyan,' I said it on purpose. Little did I know you would start crying like a little woman. Why even bother powering up? Tell me, just what the hell do you think you could do to me. Settle down and power off before I annihilate you, worm. Damn it! He's right. What could I do? And hearing this rage of Yamoshi would only then turn to frustration, as Yamoshi himself would look down, realizing that not even in his wildest dreams could he ever defeat the God Killer now. Don't look so down! But Vegito, looking back around now with a more casual face and his eyes now back to normal, would settle the atmosphere, continuing, remind me not to kid around with you again. You really think Lucifer is still inside me? Just who exactly do you think sent us down here in the first place, fool? We're finally reaching the halfway point here. We should be celebrating! As Yamoshi now calmed down and reverting back to base finally, would just begrudgingly reply, right, that's right. Lucifer did send him down here. We should be celebrating. As suddenly flying forward to the future, Vegito looking behind, forgetting everything that had just happened as if it didn't, would call out, exactly! Now hurry up and follow me! That Ginyu demon was so useful, he even told me where the next throne would be! What a shame! He had to die so tragically. As Yamoshi with his back turned, remaining still momentarily, would only just mutter back, all I can do is trust in your words, Vegito. As a few hours later, after sitting on the throne and entering a portal as usual, Vegito and Yamoshi would now find themselves in Sector 5 finally, walking together across the sand dunes of what looks like a dry desert. And in typical complaining fashion, Vegito would hardly be pleased, commenting, so this is the great Sector 5, the one crime with his ugly mug spoke so highly about. Serves me right for trusting the opinion of a damn Frieza clone. This place is another dump. It may not be as hot as the last sector, but it's not exactly cool. As Yamoshi, more concentrated and concerned with the important things, would look around and instead input, yes, the old domain of crime. But you're the Emperor now. No new demon should have been able to take the throne without defeating you first. All you got to do is find some demons. As usual, they'll then do exactly as you say. Oh yeah, that is true. As the God Killer, suspiciously looking to his side with a grin, would then add, in that case, I've got just the right idea to get their attention. As suddenly creating a giant mass of light within his palm, Vegito's energy would concentrate into a ball of powerful ki. As he would walk forward ahead of Yamoshi, with the third muttering, what are you doing now? I said we just need to fly and find some demons, Vegito! But regardless, just following his own desires, The God Killer would instantaneously then blast into the sky his energy beam, and with seemingly no target in sight. But even as Yamoshi would watch on at the strange outburst, inside he would be relieved, thinking, well, at least he didn't aim that at me. As for a brief moment, the beam of energy would travel so far into the sky, it would only appear as a small glistening star before, in a gigantic explosion. Despite its distance, it would unleash a furore of energy and light that would almost appear as if it had reached right near the faces of the Saiyans. Their strength being so large that even Yamoshi would be forced backwards, covering himself with his hands as he would grumble out, "You fool! I knew you would do something ridiculous! Just what was that for?" As Vegito, of course completely unmoved and unfazed by his own attack, would just look up straight into the blinding light with a smile, saying simply, "Just wait and see, clown." As with the massive explosion only seeming to grow in size and intensity, it would be hard to understand just what Vegito could possibly be meaning until... Guys! What was that? Until in the distance, a group of unknown demonic creatures would suddenly take heed of the disturbance within their sector. And with almost a sense of excitement, the demon would then without fear rush straight for the commotion, regardless of the rest of his friends' cautions. But as he would reach the apex of where the explosion came from, nothing would be left to be seen. Turning his head wildly, the scruffy-haired creature would then say, "What the? There has to be someone here! Where? There they are!" As finally, looking down, the demon would notice his two Saiyan guests. As almost recognizing one of them somehow, he would immediately yell, "The Emperor! The Emperor has returned!" See what I mean? As Vegito and Yamoshi, looking up from below, would just observe as the God Killer's plan would seemingly be coming to fruition like clockwork, with Vegito just staring up with a smirk and continuing, "Look at his little face. It's like he met a celebrity. Yet, he's never seen me in his whole life. How strange. Guess I better go sign some autographs." And just like that, the God Killer would then fly up to meet his supposed fan. "Emperor, welcome!" Eventually coming to a halt straight in front of the demon, with Vegito responding, "Thanks, kid, but I have a task for you. Open up the way towards the castle of this sector. You know how to do that, right? I'd hate for you to disappoint me." "Of course, my lord. I'll secure your way at once." As completely flustered and under pressure, the young demon would nervously slap his fist into his palm and submit graciously. "Portal arts, open!" And with that, like a slave on command, The enthusiastic demon would place his hands in a peculiar hand position. Before just like that, before the feet of Yamoshi on the ground, the crack of a portal would begin to open, before expanding rapidly to a wide expanse. Perfect. Very good indeed. You are a fine servant. Tell me, what is your name? For in an unexpected turn of events, the God Killer would even then pass over his hand for a handshake. The Emperor giving me a handshake! Which would understandably take the demon by surprise, who sees himself so lowly in comparison to royalty. Before quickly taking his dream chance and grabbing back onto Vegito's hands, his eyes closed with a big grin, as if holding back tears, he would then reply, My name is Pin! Pin, huh? I guess I've heard stranger names. Arigato, Pin. Arigato? Leaving the teen-like demon confused to say the least with the foreign greeting, as he would reply, What does that mean? I don't follow, my sire. And with almost a mildly disappointed look, Vegito would then explain, You don't know? I guess you demons down here wouldn't know too much about Earth. It's a phrase from where I come from. It's Japanese for thank you. Oh, thank you! No need for that at all, my lord. It was my honor. What a beautiful language, though. I hope to learn more from you. And in true butt-kissing fashion, still panicked, the young demon would say all he could to appease the God Killer. And with a smirk on his face, Vegito would accept to teach him more, as he would then ominously let out, I'm glad you think so. I think for all your hard work, I shall teach you another Japanese word. One close to my heart. Hattai! My lord! As in truly heartless fashion, Vegito would then open his eyes to reveal blood-red seraphim, while letting out his signature line. In a flash, erasing before his eyes his so-called fine servant, simply for being a demon. Pin! No! And from below, his two friends, who would have caught up by now, with tears in their eyes, would just watch as their longtime friend would be there one moment and gone forever the next. As Vegito, immediately noticing their cries and turning his gaze towards them with a smile, would then say, Oh, don't worry. I won't let you guys leave him behind. You two have served well. As simultaneously, Vegito would then begin lifting his right hand into the air before snapping his fingers nonchalantly. Why? Just like that, they too would then watch as each other would be returned to nothingness, all confusingly by the hand of the one they once knew as Emperor. And Vegito, leaving a trail of heartbreak and destruction behind, would then just callously swoop down into the portal beneath, as the last of the demon's screams would be heard, leaving just Yamoshi to look down and reflect. He says he's no Lucifer, but I wonder if even he would do the things you do, Vegito. Before, with no other choice, he too would then jump in, following the Saiyan. And it would be here that things would finally change to a lighter note, as one of the several teams Bulma made of Earth's greatest fighters would then be seen walking down a forest trail on a new planet. Bardock, Trunks, and his grandson Goten. As the elderly Saiyan, with his blindfold still on, would turn to his grandchild and ask, "So, kid, what's it like spending time with your granddaddy for once? Me and your old man seem alike. Strange how I've seen you more than I've seen him so far." To which Goten, having to think quite hard, would scratch his head and say, yeah, kinda. I don't know you that well yet, Grandpa. But I guess I don't know Dad that well either. I mean, to be honest, Dad hasn't even been around that long. I only met him a few years ago. As of course, Goten thinking back would remind us all how Goku, the most exemplary example of a father, would have only first seen Goten back in the Buu Saga at the World Martial Arts Tournament. I see. Leaving Bardock slightly bemused, as he would think internally. Wait, so Kakarot wasn't even around for the kid until now? I know I wasn't exactly around that much, but damn! Guess the apple never does fall too far from the tree. Good thing I didn't bring Gine here. There wouldn't be a universe left to save if she found out. And hearing all this discussion go down, the proud Trunks, keen to gush about his own father, would interrupt. Yeah, Goten's dad isn't great, but my dad, on the other hand, he takes me to the park all the time. But before the young Saiyan would finish, something powerful would be sensed right near him. As revealed right in front of the three, blocking their path, would be two caped creatures with pointy ears and each bearing a horn. Finally, the young Goten and Trunks would come into contact with what presumably is either a demon king or emperor. We're in luck, brother! As standing before them now would actually be two very short figures. Figures that once again bear a striking resemblance to a certain villain from the past. But fortunately, one that none of the three had ever seen themselves. As the one on the left would finally speak and say, "We're lucky indeed. There were warnings of rebels trying to spoil Lord Lucifer's plans, but who would have thought we'd be the ones to run into midgets. As the other would add with a big grin, indeed. 2 little shorties. Children, in fact. This really will be like taking candy from a baby. But Bardock, hearing this with his heightened senses, would just be puzzled by the choice of words, as he would think, midgets? Shorties? Are these 2 baldies not aware they're the same height as these kids? Regardless, they seem a little too confident. I don't want another Kalo situation, so maybe I should step in first. But before Bardock could even uncross his arms and get involved, right beside him, both Trunks and Goten, in their impatience, would immediately transform into Super Saiyans, both with real eagerness on their expressions, each with a smile, as Trunks would let out, "Come on, Goten, these guys think we're weak. Let's show them what we've been working on. Rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first." Sorry, Trunks, snoozers are losers. No fair, Goten! But in his excitement, the young Goten's unrestfulness from walking all this time would eventually get the better of him, as leaving Trunks behind, he would go straight for the demon alone. You guys are slow! You haven't even moved yet! And as Goten would approach, he would be all smiles, as he would curiously notice the lack of reaction from his opponents. Here goes! But regardless, within moments, the Super Saiyan would be right in front of the first Garlic Jr.-esque demon, his fist clenched and pulled back ready to do damage. But just when Goten would fully extend, he would then quickly find out just why the mini-demons would have no reason to move, as stopping him straight in his tracks with just their palm, the demon would leave both Goten and Trunks at a loss for words. You stopped me? To which, with an annoyed face, the demon would at least admit, "Yes, mortal. What else would you expect? Disrespectful little." Calm down, brother. But lifting his fist, the other demonic toddler would have more on his mind, instructing his partner, "Just hold him still, will you?" As with a demonic screech of a laugh, suddenly his arm would morph as if he were part margin into a fast rotating drill. As in a shocking scene that would never have been expected to have been witnessed for the young Goten, the Heartless demon would then show this was no game, and immediately take his chance, thrusting the sharpened drill straight through the torso of the young Saiyan, as blood would splatter everywhere on impact, with Goten's stunned face and drop in mood immediately being visible from his widened eyes and now fading pupils. Goten! Goten! And of course, watching on, both Trunks and Bardock would be left completely shocked, never expecting such a brutal response, and so quickly. Damn it! I knew I should have handled this! This isn't Gohan, it's just a damn kid! And blaming himself as the only adult, Bardock would immediately power up, as his black hair would begin flowing upwards. But just as he would do so, yet again he would be interrupted, as right in front of both Trunks and Bardock, a third warrior would appear, one far larger, and one not so ready to let the older Saiyan intervene. You stay here, flesh pile! As once shown in his full stature, the dark green demon, pulsating with veins all over his giant muscles, would stare straight forward to Bardock, completely disregarding Trunks as he would continue, Didn't you ever learn to pick on someone your own size? Let the children deal with their own problems, and the adults with theirs. Goten! I'm coming! And Trunks, presumably hearing this, or maybe just on instinct, would then immediately fly right past the demon, panic on his face as he fears the worst for his best friend, with the giant demon just giving a passing glance rather than attempting to stop him. And as he would watch with a grin, the demon would almost put Bardock at ease, letting out, Don't worry, I'm not interested in small fry. You're all that's on the menu tonight. And with that, Bardock would let out a big sigh, before then silently tightening his blindfold from behind. Ultimately then getting into fighting stance, as his hair would begin to stick up once more, his own muscles now bulging and surrounded in a mysterious white aura, as he would say, At least you've got some honor. I can respect that, and for that, I will give you a warrior's death. Oh, please, do! All the while, the sadistic-looking demon in front would grin wildly, seemingly taking in great pleasure from the threats. Hold on, Goten! But back with Trunks, he would only be moments away from reaching Goten and the other two demons. Another short stack is coming, brother. Of course, getting the attention of one of them before... I better clean off my tools. As brutally ripping out the serrated drill, almost as violently as it first went in, the depths of Goten's gaping wound would then be seen. And instantly, like a light would switch off, Goten would then revert to base, without hardly a groan. Goten! Leaving the young Saiyan to just scream in terror, as it would be witnessed all right before his adolescent eyes. As we would then see the still barely clinging to life Goten fall to one knee, as the giggling demon would continue to hold onto his fist, just goading him. Come on, brat! Your friend over there is coming for you! At least stick around to see his demise too! All the while his brother would be yelling as he would aim to rip apart Trunks next, spearheading his drill like an arm once again. And just as Trunks' face would come close, right eye to eye with the drill, it would seem like the same would happen again until... just at the last second, with a surprising level of skill, Trunks would immediately vanish, leaving the demon to miss before... Before, with rage and more anger and vitriol than ever before seen by the young Saiyan, Trunks would reappear to slam a fist right into the side of Goten's attacker. Even aiming the blow so perfectly, the demon would then smash into his brother at his side, causing the second demon to let go of Goten's fist in the process too. Both sent far into the distance to crash land behind a quickly fading Goten, who now, with no stability from the demon, would begin falling to the ground until... Goten! I got you! In a flash, with super speed, Trunks would be there to catch his fallen friend. And with visible tears running down his eyes as he would watch Goten leave the living world, the young Saiyan would yell out, "Don't leave, you jerk! I thought you said you were stronger than me! You can't lose like this! You can't! Wait!" And in his panic, Trunks would quickly reach into his belt, pulling out a senzu bean and feeding Goten quickly. And with the senzus already having some effects, Goten would then begin to whisper, "Trunks, don't lose." And leaving Goten to rest, now with some insurance he'll be okay, Trunks would only reply, "I won't." Damage it! While in the distance, the two demonic brothers, heavily scratched up now, would finally arise, annoyed and ready to get their revenge. But when Trunks would look behind coldly, something would be noticeably different about him. His hair sticking up far more, and when he would fully turn around, it would be clear. This would no longer be a Stage 1 Super Saiyan anymore. And as he would continue staring forward in silence, he would soon prove this wasn't even a Super Saiyan 2 either. As suddenly, with a vicious roar, for the first time, Trunks' pupils would completely vanish, his hair sticking up even more wildly now, as a hint of blue would begin to emerge within his golden aura. And after a ridiculously large aura would explode right out of the miniature Saiyan's body, his transformation would be clear. As emerging, walking forward, would be a Super Saiyan Rage Trunks, the same form future Trunks used against Zamasu, now unlocked in true anger by the young Trunks of our timeline. And with his eyes still blank, he would look forwards towards the demons and say coldly, "I'll win, Goten! That power from the kid!" And such a transformation would even garner the attention of the larger demon once again, as he would turn his head before... Bardock would punish him, slamming a leg right into his gut. And as the demon would recoil back in pain, Bardock would comment with a smile, "Didn't you say to pick on someone your own size? Keep your eyes here, freak." All the while the demon would struggle to even recover from the first attack with his eyes still closed. I said keep your eyes here! With suddenly Bardock still harboring anger from before with what happened to Goten, then following up with a brutal uppercut, slamming the demon's head up. Sending its body flying straight into the air. But before Bardock would give chase, he'd spare a momentary look at the all-new Trunks, and with a proud smile would say, "That's the way, Trunks. Show those brats what the Vegeta bloodline can really do." Before ultimately, then finally flying straight up to finish his opponent. But back with Trunks, as his power would continue to rise and rise, not reaching an end just yet. Elsewhere, the other Trunks would sense something. My hand! As looking into his palm, it would now strangely be coated in electricity, leaving the long-haired time traveler to now wonder, what's going on? I feel like my energy is fading. No, like it's being used. But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag happy birthday in the comments down below, as it is my birthday and I spent all of today working on this video for you guys. So please give me the best present possible and head straight over to my Patreon right now, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,700 other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. I would really appreciate it. Cheers.